Roboquest is an indie first-person shooter that is immediately enjoyable and very fun. It is so much fun that this title honestly should be talked about more. The action is snappy and very arcadey. This is the type of game that feels satisfying for one run or for several. The amount of different guns, perks, and buffs mixed with the various locations, enemies, and randomization means that each run feels unique. There's a good amount to grind for in the long term as well, to increase your chances at survival. Plus this has the option for 2-player online co-op, giving it some more legs. It may be an early access title right now, but it seems like a pretty good example of early access done right. Let's start off with the basics. This is a first-person shooter and you'll be spending the majority of your time in combat, blasting away at anything on the screen. It is important to note that at least with a controller, the initial feel to the aiming is off, and this is because of aiming acceleration. Thankfully in the settings you can tweak everything to how you want it to be than the default controls, and I'll get into this a bit more later. There is also a sort of lock-on that happens when you are aiming near an enemy, and you snap onto them. This isn't really a very precision-based shooter, and this snappiness feeds into the arcadey flavor this game is going for. It works, generally feels good, and fits the action well. Impact and sound-wise both are good. Enemies often explode, and I love the little comic-style effects that pop up when you fire. Now each of the different classes have an ability that is on a cooldown that you can use. The base guy has a shield that he can throw up. This is great for absorbing plenty of incoming fire, or for going to grab more health. Movement wise you can double jump and slide. Both feel good and the slide can be used in any direction. There's a nice flow here, and I wonder if they will add wall running at some point, as it feels like it would fit in nicely. It's also good to see how many levels and areas will have vertical aspects to them, either for getting to the next area or even finding secret upgrade items. Something I really liked about the health system is how it pushes the player to stay in the action. This isn't a stop and pop experience, but more of a jump and weave while always firing type of action. When an enemy is killed, they will drop health orbs. They will not stay around long, so you need to figure out how to contend with the many foes and grab some more health, meaning you are almost always running towards the action rather than running away from it to hide and heal. I like this a lot. Now with this being a roguelite, there is both short-term and long-term progression. This means that you have stuff to earn that is exclusive for that run, and then lost upon death, and then stuff to grind for. Let's start out with the short term. As you defeat enemies, you'll gain experience and level up. Once you level up, you can choose from a few different perks. These range from stat bonuses, providing modifiers to your weapons, or even your ability. Different buff items can be found and even bought with power cells that you will collect on each run. What perks you get and the item buffs are random, so this adds a freshness to each run. I do like how there is this personalization here, as depending on what guns you have, you might want to go with a certain perk over others. The amount and different types of guns feels extensive. I felt like I was always encountering something new to try out. You get many of the expected weapons, and then you start seeing stuff that I honestly would expect in Borderlands or something like it. With Gatling gun rocket launchers, a gun that creates an energy ball that bounces around the room, mortars, bows, Tommy guns, and even a gun that can be thrown down as a turret. Now once you die, you will lose all of this stuff and then start from nothing again on a new run. But while you are on a run, you're earning stuff for the long term. You are working towards unlocking new classes with their own nuances. Gadgets that will let you start off with some buffs right out of the gate, like being able to carry 3 weapons or have more armor. The biggest thing to grind for are your base upgrades. These will provide you with more options and better stuff to see on your runs. As you slot points into different areas, your chance of survival increases. Progression for both the long and short term is rewarding. Over the course of a run, there are a few different rooms that you will encounter. Most are spaces where you're trying to get from A to B. Others are arenas that you need to survive. There's a few bosses that can be very challenging as well. The ones I fought were intense climactic fights. Purple rooms are sort of like traversal puzzles or trap areas. It's less focused on combat and how to figure out how to get to the rewards at the end of it. There's a good amount of zones as well, and each come with their own enemies, keeping the action engaging. Some enemies provide shields to everyone in the room, so you need to find the shield tower first. Others will try to get in close and blow up near you. You have flyers, stealth foes, and even mini-bosses. Overall, I'm having a lot of fun with this title, and there are some flaws that I have seen. This does feel like a game that was made for mouse and keyboard first, and then controller, since the default aiming is not good for the controller. Thankfully, there's plenty of options to tweak, along with making it a lot better with the aiming acceleration. But again, I always question why anyone would include aiming acceleration. I have never heard someone want this feature or are happy it was included. The jumping is fun, and you can often hop on rails, but it can be a bit touchy where it seems like you should be able to connect with a rail and then you jump right through it. I have had some invite glitches where the game would say I sent an invite out and my friend never gets it. A quick restart of the game fixes this. This next point is not a flaw, but something I hope that is added in the future. The co-op is only built for 2 players. I don't think it would honestly work with 4 with how the levels are. You'd be right on top of each other and it would probably feel cramped. I do think that a 4-person horde mode, maybe with its own upgrades, could be really fun as a future content update. Roboquest is a gem of a title, especially on Game Pass. It presents the very best the service has to offer. Introductions to games that honestly deserve more attention and are worth your time, but can get lost with the large amount of games released every week. Even in early access, this title is an easy recommendation and stands as an example for how to do early access and do it well. It seems like they provide content updates and good communication with their community. This year it's supposed to move into its full release stage, and I look forward to what new things are added then. If you're looking for a very fun shooter or a good co-op game, check this one out. If you're interested in being notified of new videos, please hit the subscribe button and bell. And if you would like to support the channel and get early access to content, please check out my Patreon. All of the links will be at the end of this video and within the description. And thank you very much for watching.